Hi everybody, my name is Connie Gomez and I'm from Mama of Dos here in Houston, Texas. I wanted to submit a video last year and I didn't. I think we all know it well. The fear, insecurity, and doubt. The biggest question, what if I sound dumb? I mean, what if my story is boring? I watch TED Talks all the time. I know exactly what awesome looks like. And I want to captivate people and make people laugh and make people cry or inspire them. And I don't know if I could do all that. I'm a perfectionist. It's one of my biggest problems. And sometimes I need approval and I like to hear it that, what I'm doing is okay. Maybe a lot of us can relate. And then I watched last year's storytellers and I saw them get everyone choked up and make everyone laugh, and they were cheered for. People spoke about domestic violence and being on welfare and losing it all and starting over, being determined and being unconditionally loved, being a miedosa, growing in La Perla, which was an amazing story, having kids with identity crisis like Kathy. And don't worry, because my kid thinks that being a vegetarian is a race. And I thought, now I really can't do it. I'm really not going to be able to top any of that. And then I thought, well, they kind of all told my story already. Everybody kind of touched a little bit of what I've been through in my life. I mean, it's crazy. And then one day I was telling my friend on Facebook, we were talking about her being pregnant and taking on a new baby. And I was trying to tell her how she could do it, I was trying to motivate her and telling her that she could do it, that we can do it as moms. Somehow we just make it work. And while I was talking to her, a light bulb went off in my head and I thought, that's my story. I've got it. So I came up with my story. I was 28 years old and pregnant with my first baby. It's an amazing experience. I had a healthy baby boy. My heart was extremely full and I was very happy. And I thought, this is great. And 10 months later, I found out that I was pregnant again. Again, I was scared but embraced it. Another amazing time in my life. My career was growing. I was promoted to assistant manager in Harris County Elections Department, which is one of the largest voting counties in the U.S. I worked my butt off and I deserved all the glory and I received it. And I had 2 kids at home, and my husband was a student at the University of Houston and he was a senior. And as a senior, he received a lot of opportunities to travel. He became an intern for pretty good companies and they sent months at a time, depending on what he was working on. And then it came. It was September of 2012 and my kids were about 3 and a year and a half. And my husband was away on a trip. He had already been away to Utah for about 8 weeks or so. And in the elections department, I worked over 40 hours a week. I took care of my kids mostly on my own. I had some help, but my mom lives on the other side of town and my mother-in-law doesn't drive. So, it made it a little difficult. And I did find some people to help me. One of my husband's cousins would come over and help me. But everybody was busy and I didn't expect anyone to help me. I knew that I had to do this on my own. And I was struggling. I had just finished 3 months of counseling and therapy for postpartum depression. The sadness was real. I had a huge fear of losing my husband because I had the worst body left over after 2 kids. And I was tired all the time. And one day I'm sitting in my office and I remember I'm sitting there and I remember it very clear. I'm opening my soft drink and getting ready to start a lunch meeting in my office with my supervisor sitting next to me. And all of a sudden, I couldn't breathe. I turned to my manager and I said, Jennifer, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. And, everybody started panicking. I had already started panicking. And I was walked out of my office into the ladies' room. And that's the last time people in my department remember me. They remember me being wheeled out on a stretcher and leaving. to the emergency room. It was pretty embarrassing. It was crazy. After that, I sat in an ER for about 2 or 3 hours and was told that I had a panic attack and that I needed to take it easy. I left with no medication and really no help or guidance. You know, they told me to follow up with my regular doctor. And I mean, it was hard. Being a mom is a lot of work. It's no joke. And I commend everybody who is a mom and who works extremely hard, because it's definitely a job. After I was in the ER, I went to see my doctor and he prescribed medication and 3 days off of work. I didn't take the medication. I didn't want my kids to have a Walking Dead mom, and so I didn't take the medication. I didn't take 3 days off. I quit my job because I just really felt like it was killing me. I loved my job. I loved working. I still love working outside the home. It's one of my biggest passions, and I just knew that at that time I needed to do something different for myself and for my kids. I stayed home for 7 months, and I healed in so many levels, just so many different areas. Took care of my kids. I then went absolutely nuts because I couldn't be at home. I realized that I just couldn't be at home. And I started looking for work again. But I did take 7 months off, and it helped me. I discovered that no matter where I run, the stress, the overwhelming demands of life were going to be there. I had to tell myself, Connie, put your big old granny panties on and move forward. Get a grip and focus. And I did. I never took the medicine, took a break, and take many breaks now. I learned not to feel guilty about me time or self-care. I rarely sleep, but you know what? I learned at that moment, not all the horrible things in my life that were going on, but that moment when I felt hopeless and had these two little faces staring back at me who needed me to be good and happy and sane, I learned that that was my story of love and triumph over anything and everything that this life may throw at me. As they say, don't worry, be happy. I can't worry about anything else other than my happiness and my children's well-being. And during that time when I was diagnosed with a panic attack, I didn't know where it would take me, and I didn't know where it would lead me to. I was scared, and I had to put myself back together, and I did. And I remained strong and focused, and now I know that I can overcome anything. I can do anything for my kids and for myself. And that's my story. Thank you.